Hello there. So, I've been eating gluten for about 5 days now. I think this is the fifth day. Um, I'm surprised so far at how well it's gone. Usually, I'm not able to walk around much and stuff, but I guess maybe, well, I'm assuming since I've recently had gluten, like say a couple months ago, my body hasn't fully healed, so it hasn't. So the attack now probably isn't as bad because I haven't fully healed, so there's not as much to kill. Because half of us is already dead. That's my assumption. Um, but yeah, I just thought I'd make this an update, everyone, as to what's been going on for the past few days and talk about some stuff. So let's get into that. All right. So I made the video on the first day I was eating gluten, so there was not much else to say there. Um, Day two, I've written some notes, by the way, guys, so I'm going to be looking at that often. Um, Day two was alright. Like, I was expecting it probably to hit then, and it didn't. So, that was good. I think the only thing it felt like was basically doing like when you do a workout, like an ab workout, say, and you hadn't done it in a long time, like the day after your, I guess, muscles are sore. And so it sort of felt like that around the stomach, but considering my stomach feels like that half the time anyway, it wasn't really anything different. Um, so that was, pretty normal. Um, what I did notice was that at night I got a pretty bad headache, and that's usually one of the signs that I guess I'm experiencing a gluten attack or whatever. Because it's just one of those ones that won't go away no matter what you do. I don't really know what brings it on, but like I just deal with it, I guess, and that just comes and goes. Um, the the other thing I noticed, which actually wasn't usual for me, was that my trips to the toilet. Um, Usually I don't actually have to go that often. Like it's like probably more often than most, but like that day it was like 11 times. Um, and obviously like it wasn't like there wasn't much going on there. I'm not going to go into details. It's not that kind of vlog, but like it was mostly fine. I'd say it was diarrhea, but again that's it was worse than usual. That's also pretty like normal for me. That's kind of the reason I'm having these tests because I'm not having normal bowel movements and all that. Um, the other thing I notice when I have gluten, I think, is I seem to like because I have asthma. I seem to find it harder to breathe and all that. So like it must affect that in some way. So like lying down is it's a bit harder to breathe and all that. Also, acid reflux, that happened on the second day too, but that was like once. Usually I get that, you know, all the time. So, that like I don't know if that was any different. Um, Something I noticed all over the days as well was probably just how much more drowsy I am. I don't think that's something I quite realized would happen. Like, it's just interesting to see that being having like a health condition that's like usually affecting your stomach and all that. I guess you just don't realize that it affects you in more psychological ways as well, like energy levels and like being drowsy and like the being in the clouds and all that sort of thing. So wasn't really the smartest person. I'm still probably not the smartest person in the world. um but yeah, I think that's a big, huge thing is just realizing how tired I am and how much I am sleeping in. Um, and it's been a challenge trying not to judge myself with that because I guess you don't want to be that person who sleeps all day. Um, and yeah, I think that's about it for day one. Day two, I mean. Anyway, day three. Um, day three was like, I guess it was kind of like just any other day, even if I hadn't eaten anything with gluten in it. Um, like I was just mostly fine. Like again, sort of had that after workout feeling in my abdominal area, but like it wasn't even that bad. Like it was just normal for me. So you know, like if there was on a scale of 1 to 5, like it'd be a 1, whereas like day two would be maybe a 2 sort of thing, but or maybe 1.5. Like yeah, it wasn't too bad. Um, the exhaustion and the tiredness had set in a bit more, and it was weird because usually when I get that exhausted feeling when I'm walking around, there's also that pain and that heavy feeling going on in my stomach. So it was interesting to experience that exhausted feeling of walking around, even though I wasn't getting any of the physical symptoms, sort of thing, or like the aches and pains in my body or the cramping or anything. Um, it was just really weird to walk around and go, oh god, like can I it was being puffed out, but there was nothing really going on. So that was interesting. Never had that before, and I think that's really what celiac and all those problems are really like. You don't know what to expect. It's different every time. Like the experience I'm having now is completely different to what I have had in the past, and what I've had in the past has been different multiple times and in multiple ways as well. Um, and yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm documenting it is because I just think it's it needs to be out there. Like we need to we need to be a bit more empathetic and a bit more understanding. I think like anyway, moving on. Um, oh, it kind of felt like my back like sort of like I'd been lifting heavy things, sort of, and like it needed a massage, that sort of feeling. Like, yeah, that was an odd pain. Mm, and that happened. It was a bit ticklish in some areas, or like sensitive. Like, well, some parts of like my torso was a bit sensitive to touch. Like, I wouldn't say it hurt or anything. Like I say, it was verging on ticklish. Um, but that was weird. But again, I've experienced that before. I guess it was just because it wasn't so mixed in with all these other symptoms that I noticed that a bit more. Uh, and day four was exactly the same. So that was yesterday, was day four. I didn't get any headaches yesterday. And I think if I had a headache on, was that Wednesday? The day before yesterday. Um, the headache didn't really last for that long either. So at this point, I was feeling pretty good, to be honest. I'd gone into this venture thinking by like this point in time, I wouldn't be able to really do anything. I'd be in constant pain, I'd be overtired, all that sort of stuff. Being going to the toilets and all that. Oh, that's something I forgot to mention. I didn't actually, I guess my bowel habits, as we want to think about them, they returned to their usual cycle. I wouldn't say normal. It was still probably going to the toilet a bit more than a normal person or the average person. Um, but yeah, I was kind of getting excited. Well, I wouldn't say excited, but a bit more positive about how this month is gonna go because I hadn't really been experiencing what I thought I would be experiencing. In fact, it was kind of just like a little bit more pain and frustration than what I usually get, and really it's not too much. Like it's bearable. Um, so I was really positive, and then today happened. Again, it's not too bad, but I think about maybe around 2ish, like needed to go to the bathroom, did my stuff, and yeah, this isn't gonna sound too pretty. Basically, there was like blood in my stool, which I've also been experiencing diarrhea. So that's, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you what it looks like, or show you. Some people think I'll be showing that stuff on here. No, I'm not that person, and I don't want that image associated with me. But yeah, so I did that, and afterwards, I really didn't feel very great. And sort of as the hours have gone by, it's about like 6 now, so about 4 hours, it's just kind of increasingly gone bad. And I've gone to like the bathroom like every hour, and it's sort of just kind of gone in between. Yeah, it's not a great feeling. It's definitely at that point where if I make any sudden movements or like it's not great feeling. Walking around, I'm getting that heavy feeling again, which isn't too great, but again, it's not the worst I've had it, so I'm kind of grateful for that at least. The bleeding, though, I think is a bit concerning. So basically, this is going to get educational in a very, very non pretty way. Uh, if you have bleeding, in that area, you can have two types. And basically, if it's really bright red, that means it's like, it's like at the end of your rectum, basically. You're fine. Well, you're not fine, but like it's not as bad. The darker it gets, the more concerned you probably should be because that means it's higher up in your digestional tract where the bleeding has occurred. And it's less likely to be due to like, I guess normal, like non-serious things. Um, Obviously, I know all this because I've had it in the past, but yeah, I guess my blood's a bit darker than usual. So, yeah, basically, I'm going to go off gluten again until Monday, basically because I don't think I should continue eating gluten if there's that sort of bleeding that I'm experiencing. Um, and yeah, on Monday, I'm hoping that I can call up and just ask for advice as to like what I'm supposed to do, whether they think I should still do it or not. But yeah, until then, I'm just gonna have to go off gluten and look after myself. The only other time I've had bleeding like that, I think, was when I was off gluten, but I had recently been gluten, but it had been like a few weeks, and I had just done an excursion out of school, um, so that wasn't fun, especially because it kind of meant that can't do relief work for the moment, but oh well. But yeah, so after anyway, moving on, getting back to today. So after those incidents, yeah, my body hasn't quite been the same. I'm trying to relax and just do not much really. Film this, obviously. And it's definitely weird sensations going on in my body. Like, obviously, going to the bathroom, the digestive system starts moving and all that. And so all sorts of things are happening. So, like, it just feels like there's like a trickle in my body or like just tickling, even though I'm not. So, my body was sensitive before to touch, but now it just seems to be experiencing those sensations anyway of like that weird ticklish feeling. Hoping that means like I'm not seriously bleeding inside. I don't think I am. I think it would be a much, much worse than what I've seen. Um, but yeah, apparently this is what happens if you eat gluten, guys. So yeah, I'm hoping that this is kind of just a one-off, but I kind of feel like nah, it's just gonna keep being like that. It'll get worse. I am glad that it hasn't been as bad as it has been though, because I couldn't imagine doing a month of that. Um, Even though I was very prepared for it. Um, but yeah, other things I've noticed, I guess, more emotionally, I've been a bit more moody. um, I think when you when there's just like this constant pain going on in your body, like you just don't want to be around people. Um, Especially if they have high levels of energy and you don't want to move. Like you just don't want to. You're just like, no, I can't click on to your energy levels. Please just be yourself, but be somewhere else. Um, I don't think I've been too moody or like taking how I feel out on anyone though, which is good. But yeah, definitely like just wanting that distance at the moment is probably the main thing. Um, I get a bit anxious as well. So last night I couldn't get to sleep, but that was probably a mixture of watching like a 007 thing and being annoyed at what the person was saying in that. But you know, each their own. Stay up to like 12 writing an essay on how it's not as woke or misogynist as people are making it out to be. Anyway, so that's a side note. That's not important. That's not what this is. um, yeah, I think talking about that just shows that I'm pretty much done with talking about the celiac stuff. So I will leave it there. I will yeah, keep you guys updated, I think. We'll see how I go over the week and especially because obviously my body is starting to experience the more serious symptoms that are probably going to affect me. Stopping gluten is not just going to stop that because it takes time to digest gluten, and I've eaten gluten today. So, um, we'll see how much worse it gets before it gets better. But yeah, I'm gonna document it, talk about it, just like I've talked about now. So, if it's too much detail for you, feel free not to watch it. It's not really about me telling you you need to watch this. It's just if you want to be informed, educated about what it can be like. Um, yeah, that's really it. I am, yeah, just doing it to put it out there. Alrighty, I will finish it up and see you guys next time. Bye bye.